All right, YouTube, every single person that exists has some kind of relationship. And being that they do so have a relationship, there's a possibility of being hurt in that relationship.
You hurt me.
Relationships themselves don't hurt people. And oftentimes the people in the relationships don't mean to hurt anybody either. But there's quite the possibility that it was a parental relationship, whether it's in your romantic relationships or your working relationships, whatever relationship you may have, there's the possibility that something can be done that could hurt your feelings or hurt you in some other kind of way.
You hurt my feelings.
So stay tuned today on this video and on this channel as we talk about the types of hurt that can happen in relationships and how you can start that process for restoration. What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Faith Like That. We are a Christian ministry that is dedicated to helping you live a clean life for Christ and to live that life abundantly. Please take a moment and subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it, and it would help us get this information out to more people. And we're always dropping some great content about how you can grow in your level of faith and in your relationships and in your life. All right, YouTube, so again, today we're here to talk about being hurt in your relationships. And it's quite possible this has already happened to you. And if it hasn't, the probability of it happening is very high. So there are 4 types of hurt in relationships I want to discuss today to make sure that you are aware of what they are and then how to start that process for restoration. You may have been the one that was hurt, that maybe needs to be restored. So maybe it's some things you might need to say to some other people, or you may have been the one that was doing the hurting and you want to repair the harm wherever it was done. So either way, let's talk about the 4 types of hurt. All right, so the first kind of hurt is physical hurt. This is the kind of hurt that most people think about when you talk about being hurt anywhere, any kind of relationship or any context, right? I think you've maybe been hit, been punched, been kicked, maybe you got in an accident of some kind, that whatever it might be, that there's a physical hurt that has happened to you. Now, I just want to say that physical hurt that's been inflicted upon you by other people in a relationship should never be tolerated, ever. So maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe they're dealing with some things, especially in the kind of relationship hurt or family. It could be parent to kid, kid to parent kind of thing, that kind of hurt. And you understand why they may lash out that way, but it's still not acceptable. So something that we got to talk through and get the appropriate support for people to make sure that they're not inflicting pain and hurt physically on anybody. Now, if this is the kind of situation where they don't want to have a conversation about it, they're not interested in fixing this kind of thing, then there's other conversations you need to have with law enforcement and some other people about how to get them the support they need and how to keep you safe and out of harm's way. So make sure you're not allowing yourself to be hurt physically or be punched, kicked, or pain inflicted upon you in any kind of way in a relationship. It should not be tolerated. You don't deserve it. It was not your fault to the degree that you need to be punished physically for it. So make sure this isn't happening to you in these relationships. Now, if you're a child and you get a spanking, hey, you know the Bible says, matter of fact, there's multiple verses in scriptures in the Bible about corporal punishment or spanking or disciplining children. So it's not something that's illegal or wrong. Sometimes if you do wrong, you get a spanking, but you need to be beat to the inch of your life for this thing. So there's an appropriate way that children should also be disciplined by their parents. So if it's starting to feel like it's inappropriate, then you might need to say something to somebody so you can get yourself some help and get your parents some help.
You need help. You need professional help.
The second kind of hurt in relationships is emotional hurt. Now, let me tell you about this one. This one is the hardest one to recognize, especially when you don't have a high level of emotional intelligence and been trained in that way to recognize these things. But it is just as painful, or maybe even more painful, than physical hurt. right? Emotional hurt, you can't really put medicine on it. It's not like you can take Tylenol, it's going to go away. That when you're emotionally hurt by someone or something that someone did, it often does not go away. It is very, very hard to deal with. And you see the impacts in some ways. Some people cover it up well, right? But others don't. And you see long-lasting impacts by someone that's been hurt or hurt someone else emotionally, right? We see it in kids that are now adults that still react certain ways because of things their parents said or did to them when they were younger. And it might even hurt physically at the time, but it still hurts emotionally, right? So it can be long lasting. This is a very, very difficult thing to deal with. So in your relationships, you need to be very mindful of the things you say and do to people in those relationships. And you have a very healthy culture of communication and sharing the way you feel about things. Some people can't share the things healthy right now, right? Some people blow up and argue and fight and curse and those kind of things. But being able to say, hey, look, this just happened. When you do this, it makes me feel this way. Not you're terrible because you're this. No, we don't go at people that way, but we tell them that, hey, you're a person that has done this thing, that has said this thing. And when this thing happens, it made me feel terrible. And I just want you to know that so we can start to talk about how you restore. Now, you sharing that with somebody, you could tell them that, hey, maybe you could apologize, maybe you can do this, maybe you can let me know like where your mind is on this thing so I understand, so I'm not feeling some kind of way about the things you do. But that's how you would start that process of restoration when you're the one hurt. Now, if you're hurting somebody and they're telling you these things, that means it's a great time for you to start seeking how you might repair the harm you've done in the situation. So you can say, you know what? I'm so sorry. I did not mean that. I didn't know you felt that way. And I do want to apologize for the hurt that I have caused. And also ask them, how can I repair the damage to our relationship or to this situation or even culture where I have caused damage? And that'll go a long way in making sure you can restore the situations, the circumstances, the peoples, the cultures that you have harmed.
And you say I can command my emotions.
The third type of hurt that I want to share with you today is mental hurt. This kind of hurt generally is done very intentionally, and some people do it intentionally to the point where it's almost second nature. That's just kind of how they operate. They manipulate situations and people to think certain things, to behave in certain ways, to have certain mindsets, and to also have other people doing the same thing. Kind of like, to use a term, there are people who are sexual predators or just predators in the sense. And generally, when predators enter an environment, they don't just go in and start doing the things that make them predatory, right? They don't start stealing, they don't start abusing, they don't start assaulting initially. They go in and they start to groom the environment. They start to talk to some people specific ways to make them feel better about themselves and accept the predator, but then they talk to other people and they kind of sort out who is a target by the manipulation and the way that they're able to say things and do things and how far they can push the envelope. So when the environment's groomed correctly, then they're able to move in and assault or attack the person they're pursuing, right, or they're predatory for. But then other people kind of look the other way and they've groomed it to where it's almost like, no, they would never do that because I know them to be this kind of person and they're great. We have a great relationship, so that what you're saying can't be true. So in this situation, the victim has been hurt mentally, but then also the other people that have been groomed and are bystanders have been sort of disabled and hurt mentally by what's been saying in the lies and the manipulation, right? So that's the mental hurt. Now, if you have been hurt mentally by someone, again, you need to confront these people. You need to make this, hey, this is not what we're going to do. You need to be very clear about expectations and boundaries with these people, because if you don't, then they'll continue to, I guess, manipulate and distort environments and communications and ideas and mindsets to make you think a certain thing, right? Now, if you're someone who is doing this, and perhaps you grew up in a household where this was second nature, your whole family does it, your mom did it, and you're just kind of doing what she used to do, and you really didn't realize it until someone brought it up. Again, in the situation, you should be apologizing for where you have caused harm. And in this situation, you need to be taking time to understand, to know, and to learn how you can repair the harm that you've done in the situation to these people and to this culture.
The medication's helping the physical pain, but the mental pain is another matter entirely.
So the fourth and final type of hurt that I want to talk about is spiritual hurt. As a Christian, it's important you know that people aren't just mind and body, but they're also spirit and soul, right? So there's another part to them, a portion to them that is very real and can be impacted by you, right? So in a sense, a lot of times when we connect with someone and then we disconnect with them, we've connected our spirit with them, right? But then when we disconnect with them, it can cause hurt, right? In a way that we didn't really intend to cause hurt, to hurt their spirit, that we were just doing what we wanted to do. And in that sense, I'm kind of talking sexually. When you connect with people sexually and you're just sleeping around, that other person may connect with you in a way that you didn't intend to. And now that there's a disconnection and a left feeling in a certain way, right? But on top of it being sexually and just other relationships, maybe in the church, that your actions or words or things that you speak into existence in your behaviors can impact someone else spiritually by preventing them from moving forward, so you can position yourself in a superior place or above them, right? You don't want people to grow past you. You don't want people to get more than you've got. You want to see like the authority and the most godly in the situation. And when you do that, you cause spiritual hurt and you disable other people, right? Especially when you're in a position to be a leader over them or a teacher for them. If you're disabling them, you're hurting them. You don't want to stunt anybody's growth. You don't want to keep anyone premature and young and immature and where they're at in their spirit. So you don't want that situation either, right? So you have to be very mindful of your ability, especially as a Christian, to hurt or impede other people spiritually, and even the consequences of it for you as a Christian. You don't want these consequences. You don't want those problems. Making sure that your motives for what you say and what you do are pure and they're only to glorify God, not glorify and edify yourself. In this context, to restore, especially if you've been hurt as a Christian, you need to go to this person and highlight to them, hey, this is what it looks like is happening. I just want to be really candid about this. And I would even use this language. Please unconfuse me about what's going on here because it looks like this and I don't want to get the wrong idea. Now, if they explain it and it is that they're kind of hurting you or keeping you from growing or trying to edify themselves, bring it to their attention. Just say, hey, look, I just want to be really honest with you. It looks like this, and I really hope that's not happening, right? And then you could say, like, look, to kind of clean the situation up, maybe you should do this, this, and this. Be solutions oriented of how we can move forward. Now, if you're the one that's been hurting somebody this way and they bring this to you, again, you need to make sure you're apologizing and you're seeking ways that you can repair and restore yourself into the culture and community and with these people and repair that harm that you've done.
I'm not going to let her destroy my spirit.
All right, so thank you for taking time to spend with me today as we talked about hurt in relationships and the types of hurt that's in relationships, right? I also want to just kind of bring back up a common theme. We're talking about repairing where you cause hurt or prompting repair where someone else has caused hurt, and restoration. Again, this is a two-way street. We got to talk about it. If you're being hurt, bring it up. If you hurt somebody, make sure you fix it. But the restoration is key in our communities. We can't keep canceling everyone and putting them away. We got to make sure that we're helping, we're teaching and learning, we're growing, and we're repairing the harm we do, and we're restoring what's been damaged, right? So again, thank you for taking that time to spend with me today. If you're still here, please subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon so you know when our videos are coming out. We're always dropping great content that can really help you grow in your level of faith and in your families and relationships. Also, if you're still here, I feel like you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And until next time, have faith, be safe, and we'll see you soon.